Well, look, people ask me regularly what the talent pool is like, in particular in the federal Liberal Party. They see this bloke, Senator Birmingham, as one of the election spokespeople for the coalition. Could there be any person more unimpressive? But of course, he's part of the left faction and they get the Guernseys. I can assure you out there are some very, very good people in the federal parliamentary Liberal Party, but they're not part of the soft left, and that's what the Liberal Party is going to have to address after Saturday. Tomorrow night, I'll have a look at what I see is likely to happen on Saturday night, seat by seat. Join me for that. To those of you who ask about the Prime Minister not appearing on this program, we have asked his office many times. We've had no response. Senator Alex Antic is a man who gives true Liberals a sense of hope. He's only been a Liberal Senator for South Australia since 2019. He's the first Australian Senator of Serbian descent. His father arrived from Yugoslavia in 1957 and eventually became Director of Thoracic Medicine at Royal Adelaide Hospital. Alex Antic holds arts and law degrees from the University of Adelaide. He served on the Adelaide City Council from 2014 to 2018, publicly arguing that local government must concentrate on the delivery of services rather than, quote, being used as a vehicle for identity politics, unquote. In his maiden speech, he spoke of his support for the development of an Australian nuclear power industry. He was one of 5 coalition senators in November last year to support Pauline Hans's COVID-19 bill on vaccination status, that is, a bill to prevent discrimination against those who chose not to be vaccinated. It was, though, Senator Antic who asked Professor Brendan Murphy, head of the Federal Department of Health, how he would define a woman. Let's look at this again. This is Senator Antic, and it's a metaphor of why we need people like this man in the Parliament and what talent exists within the Liberal Party. Have a look at this again and the silence of these bureaucratic Brussels sprouts.
With a very simple question for the department, and that is one which has troubled me for a great deal of time with the bureaucracy here. Can someone please provide me with a definition of what a woman is? Department of Health. Definition of a man, definition of a woman. Anyone?
It's pretty basic.
Basic stuff. Professor Murphy.
I think there are a variety of definitions, and I think
just a simple
perhaps to give a more fulsome answer, we should take that on notice.
Senator Antic has joined us. Thank you for your time. Those people with blank faces are part of the Workplace Gender Equality Agency. They're on big money, paid for by taxpayers. So one answer to what is a woman, we don't define it ourselves in the Act. Alex, where the hell are we?
Well, Alan, thanks for having me. Look, there were pretty extraordinary scenes actually in estimates that week. That was actually a clip from the Department of Health, which I asked the same question to, but I had actually asked that question of the Workplace Equity Agency or Workplace Equality Agency, who actually do have a statutory definition of the term woman. It's a person of the female sex, irrespective of age. And, you know, without wanting that to be a gotcha moment, that simply wasn't provided. The answer was, well, you know, we take the definition as to the companies that they give it to us and, you know, all this sort of nebulous stuff. So that's why I rolled it out and asked that question.
But Alex, how can the Workplace Gender Equality Agency elevate women in the workplace if they can't define what a woman is?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, it really is the critical question, I suppose. And I asked that as well. And there was, once again, almost tumbleweeds that went through the estimates room. So it is the point. If we can't actually define what a woman is, how do you go into bat for them when it comes to pay disputes and all of those sorts of things? So it's a complete nonsense.
But I mean, nonsense. The person that viewers saw there is a professor, Professor Murphy. And he has said there are a variety of definitions. Where on earth did he pluck that answer from?
I think probably from looking over his shoulder while he was sitting there, to be quite honest. I have a degree of sympathy for Professor Murphy here because I suspect that he was looking over his shoulder both to that day and for the coming weeks and months if he answered the question with a simple definition that it's an adult human female, as we all would. I think what it actually does highlight is how difficult it is for people who even might share our views that it's a very simple question to fight against the bureaucracy and how far radical gender theory has actually gone into all the departments across the country at the moment.